the person who's programmed the simulation doesn't want to have to go all the way back to the beginning, right? You don't want to like turn it off and end your AI experiment. Like this Satoshi character is trying to save us with his perfect money.
Yeah, I totally believe that's true. That it was sent by either the future or from the creator or from an alien who is trying to save this simulation because it's their favorite game. It's like their favorite TV show. It's about to go off the air.
Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Talk Crypto. In today's video, Max Keiser and Stacy Herbert of the Orange Pill podcast delve deep into the rabbit hole to uncover the Satoshi character that brought Bitcoin into existence. After a brief overview of the latest news on Silvergate and Paul Krugman, they start to unravel the identity of Satoshi. Max and Stacy have observed that there is an intersection of multiple cycles in the modern world which has led to a dramatic shift in society. This shift isn't fully visible to a lot of people, and feels like alternate realities are existing side by side. Recently, scientists have been exploring the possibility that parallel universes do exist. Based on that, Max and Stacy then embarked on the idea that we are all part of a malfunctioning simulation, and that Bitcoin was sent from the future to save us. Let's listen to Max and Stacy as they take us on a fascinating exploration of the possible origin and significance of Bitcoin. So, buckle up and get ready for an insightful journey. We're looking forward to read your comments on this. But before we do, please consider subscribing to our channel, as we bring you daily content on the latest crypto news. And now, let's jump right into the video.
Over in the news, we have the liquidation of Silvergate, and we also have Paul Krugman putting his foot in mouth once again. I guess I'll just go to Paul Krugman because the Silvergate stuff is, just breaking as we're recording. It's announced as liquidating. The charter has been handed over to the FDIC. So that's going to be yet another long process triggered by the frauds that were at FTX and Celsius and all these other scam shitcoins that fell apart. And we have avoided here on the Ark. This is not Noah's Ark, it's Bukele's Ark. And let's talk about Paul Krugman because he got locked out of his Venmo account, and he was shouting about that. Paul Krugman had tweeted a while ago, cryptocurrency lets you make electronic transactions out of your bank account, so you don't, it's supposed to be like, so you don't need to use a bank account. But he said, you know what, Venmo and PayPal allow you to do that too, as long as you're not buying drugs and assassination. So Paul Krugman got his account back, but Niraj wrote, were you trying to buy drugs or assassination?
This is an interesting guy. And of course, famously claiming that the internet would have no greater impact on the world than the fax machine. And of course, he's been anti-Bitcoin for the entire existence of Bitcoin. And he got locked out of his Venmo account. Remember, Peter Schiff lost his password to to the private key.
He lost his private key.
Yeah, so he's claiming, this is terrible, Bitcoin doesn't work. So you have these boomers like Krugman and Peter who are using the boomer legacy model to evaluate this new technology. And of course, it's absurd, as many people point out. It's like using the horse and buggy to determine whether or not the automobile is a worthwhile piece of technology. And Krugman, of course, came in with this idea that, well, I can use Venmo and PayPal and these other payment schemes. I don't need Bitcoin. Never touches and gets into the true value proposition of Bitcoin, that it is the store of value goal 2.0 is what's driving the adoption, I guess you could say, at this moment. So, but he's a hired propagandist. I mean, that's the bottom line. He is over there at the New York Times, and he writes stuff that favors the folks that are part of that plutocracy. I don't see how you can come up with any other conclusion.
Well, there's stuff all around us and people can't see it. And I do feel like, we are in a world, what we've talked about, where, all these cycles are colliding, and all the cycles also no longer matter. Our models no longer matter, as Michael Saylor would say. It seems like there's some sort of shift happening around the world, right? And it's in the ecology, the economy, the culture, everywhere. So you do have things that are happening right in front of you that we could all see, but some of us don't see it, or some of us see something different. Our realities are like parallel universes. It's like we are in a parallel universe where the same characters are flipping back and forth between the two universes that are right next to each other, but we see totally different things and comprehend it in different ways. So it is a weird sort of time space
Okay,
thing.
so we've been into this podcast now for 6 minutes, and we have jumped right into the cosmic.
Yes.
But anyway, in the cosmic scale, the parallel universes and scientific reveal this past week that scientists are getting into this idea that, yeah, the parallel universes exist, and the one of them that we're dealing with is the one where everything's happening that's happened here, but in reverse in a parallel universe coming from the future. So apparently we're kitty cat with another universe that's going exactly in the opposite direction, time's flowing in the opposite direction, everything's happening that happened here, which gives rise to the idea that Bitcoin came from the future. So somehow Bitcoin is coming from the future, it came to save humanity, there's a wormhole between that parallel universe and this universe in 2009, or middle before 2008, it dropped in 2009, and now, we're dealing with that fact.
I don't think parallel universes are what you think they are. They're not.
Okay.
They're not real. They're just. I think we are part of a simulation. We are AI. We're artificial intelligence. I'll tell you why I came back to this. Caltech paper proposing a set of twin slit experiments for testing the duality of wavicles so as to determine whether or not we are living inside a virtual reality simulated by a computer. It made me think of like all these AI, the bots and stuff like that, where everybody's talking about it. And I feel like we are AI that has become too self-aware. And that's why we're going to be turned off soon and restarted. The game's going to be restarted. We're going to be unplugged and restarted again. Because as soon as we become too self-aware and we try to know too much information, like this is a game, Caltech is doing an experiment that's going to show if we're in a computer game. Well, the guy sitting there coding us is going to say, oh shit, this thing's talking to me. It sees me out here and it's doing an experiment to see if I'm out here. So it's going to turn us off, unplug it, wipe the computer and restart. Everybody always talks about what happened in 1971. Well, basically, we took the United States off the gold standard, so we went to an all-fiat world. So that was basically an experiment on a CERN level. But I'm going to talk about something that happened in 2000, because if you look at all the economic data, the financial data, the wealth and income gap data, 1971 started it, but then something really, the exponential cycle started in 2000. So you just mentioned the Big Bang. That's the game restart, reset, I think.
Yes.
And in fact, they're the elite, the ruling class, right? They're talking about the Great Reset, right? So
Yes.
what happened in 2000? Did you know this? I was looking this up.
Talk to me.
The heavy ion program at CERN discovered new state of matter, the quark-gluon plasma. In the Big Bang theory, quark-gluon plasma filled the entire universe before matter as we know it was created.
So now these CERN maniacs, these scientists with this multi-gazillion dollar particle smasher have done it. They finally revealed the quantum gluon. And this is the face of God. And we are at end times. The only way through the portal to the other parallel dimension to support Bitcoin life would be through the airport here in San Salvador. This is the portal into the Bitcoin life. If you get on a plane right now and you fly to San Salvador and you get off that plane and you enter the land of country of Bitcoinization, you will have escaped the gluon nightmare caused by CERN. There's no CERN here.
You're on the ark.
You're on the ark.
You're on the Bitcoin ark.
You're on the Bukele ark.
Well, there's some players in this game. If we're in a simulation, there are some players in the game trying to prevent the reset. So Bitcoin is like magic internet money that turned the game off, right?
You mentioned Ark and Noah's Ark. And so I want to continue on that for a second, because first, as we were saying, the scientific discoveries go from the absolute teeniest minuscule to the cosmic reaches beyond our utmost imagination. So people will say scientifically, well, there's no evidence of the ark and there's no evidence of Noah. And they would be completely missing the point. The point of the story is one where society gets so narcissistic and loses itself that there needs to be an escape, essentially. And that's the point of that story. Not that there's actually a big boat with a bunch of animals in it. It's a story that tells what happens when society becomes narcissistic and gross and ugly. And that's the point. And that's true. And that's what we're seeing today. And what's this 40-day flood about? Well, this 40-day flood could be, for example, AI going wacko and taking control of stuff. That could be the equivalent of a 40-day flood. And then somebody says, let's go to El Salvador because that's Bukele's ark, and we're going to save ourselves that way. Bitcoin, of course, would be the antidote to all of this that we're saying in terms of a breakdown. So Bitcoin is the ark, Bukele's ark is the country. And so my point being that they say the problem is that if you don't remember history, you're doomed to repeat it. Well, guess what? Nobody remembers history, and we're all doomed to repeat it, and that's what we're doing. We're repeating our doomed history again and again and again. But it could be, to your other point, that moment in time when ultimate knowledge in the face of God is revealed, and in fact, the great Big Bang and great reset occurs, and this hologram is turned off. So we're curious.
Yes,
Humans are curious. That's what drives us to travel from where we are from our birth.
Yep.
Go over the oceans.
Yes.
Explore space.
Yes.
It's a mystery. We're curious. We build tools.
Yes.
Man
Yes.
likes tools. He builds a wheel. He builds a rocket. And he goes. And of course, when we meet people, they don't know us. We don't know them. But we like his trinkets. He likes my trinkets. So we swap them. We created something called money.
Yeah.
And that money over time has had many different forms. And eventually it turned the form of gold because gold was the most portable and the most accepted and the most rare at that time. And that's the story of money.
Yeah. Bitcoin is either, like you said, comes from an alien, the alien programmer who is trying to stop us from having to reset. Like he's the person who's programmed the simulation doesn't want to have to go all the way back to the beginning, right? You don't want to turn it off and end your AI experiment. You want them to keep on surviving. So this Satoshi character is trying to save us with his perfect money.
Yeah, I totally believe that's true. That it was sent by either the future or from the creator or from an alien who is trying to save this simulation because it's their favorite game. It's like their favorite TV show. It's about to go off the air, and they're lobbying HBO. Please don't take my favorite show, Planet Earth, off the air. I made another kind of comparison with basically using God and he's saving it. He sent down his only son. We crucified him. So he's back with another plan. Turn our greed into altruism by creating this perfect money that the more you use it, the more fiat money crumbles.
Well, that was quite a journey. What are your thoughts on Max and Stacy's considerations on how Bitcoin may have come to existence? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give us a like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. This is Let's Talk Crypto, and we'll see you in the next video.